Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Astonishing X-Men, issue number 17. All right, so on Twitter, Matthew Rosenberg wrote something who was like, oh yeah, man, you guys were mad at me and like really pissed off because of issue number 6 of 6 of New Mutants Dead Souls, you know, the ending, the way that ended. Well, I think I'm going to take a day off of Twitter when this book comes out. Well, he does wind up killing all of the Astonishing X-Men, so there's that. Before we get into that, though, let's actually talk about who wrote this book, who made this book. We know Matthew Rosenberg wrote this, Until Our Hearts Stop, Part 5 of 5. Penciler, Greg Land. Inker, Jay Leiston. Color artist, Frank D'Armata. Letters, VC's Clayton Cowles. And cover art by Greg Land, Leiston, and D'Armata. Variant cover by Alex effing Ross, excuse me. And, of course, X-Men were created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who reside in the astral plane above. God bless their souls. All right, so, yeah, gorgeous book. So, we come over and just, the X-Men are actually killed. It's in the beginning, though, so you know there's only but so much that's going to do with that. And it's basically just a way for Dazzler to show off that, oh, yeah, man, I know how to, you know, make us look like we're dead with my light illusions, because illusions are really just light. I mean, when you think about it, unless they're mental. But yeah, boom, there you go. So why did she decide to do this? Well, it got them out of a big fight with the Reaver class Sentinels. Ooh, the Reaver class Sentinels. We could totally call them that. Coining it, I can't trademark it, but you know where it came from. So, gorgeous art in this, man. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Greg Land for whatever reason. I saw somebody went and decided to make a video just insulting him and calling him a copycat and stuff like that. I don't think somebody's a copycat just because I'm like, the images in question weren't traced, so I don't see what the problem is. He saw something and then he drew it. I don't know, I think it's called Comics Trope. The Comics Tropes, the video, the channel. I don't know where the hate comes from, bro. Maybe take a chill pill, a laxative if you need. But sorry, but like I draw, and I've only drawn 4 things this year, 2 of them in the past week. But the idea is that yeah, I draw. I went to vocational school for art, and I was really good. You know, when I was a kid, 20 some odd years ago. Nowadays, I got some stuff in there with a lot of rust, but the point is, that's part of what drawing is. You see something and you draw it. That's not called copying it. Copying it is taking a picture. You know what I'm saying? Copying it is tracing. Copying it is photocopying. You know what I'm saying? That making a facsimile. When you draw something, you're not copying anything. So, Comics Tropes, seriously, chill out, bro. Because no, you got it 100% wrong. Greg Land is a freaking awesome artist. Enough said. That being said, I'm now going to insult the mouth that he does for Kitty Pryde in these 2 images. There's a bunch of images in here of Kitty Pryde, and I'm just not a fan of the mouth. But other than that, does she not look sexy? I mean, just how you doing? I always had I think enough of you guys know, I always had a crush on Kitty Pryde when I was a kid. And I was like, because like, you know, she was always supposed to be my age. You know what I'm saying? She was supposed to be my age. What do you call it? But, you know, she's still drawn as young. I don't think she's 43 years old in this, but, you know, when I was 17, I was younger. I think I was 15, 14 or 15. I think I was 15 when I first discovered Kitty Pryde. And, yeah, she was about that same age, too. So it's like I felt like I grew up with her. Like Topanga from Boy Meets World. Now she just went and got married. Damn it. Anyway, I'm sure my wife wouldn't have minded me having a purely platonic relationship with gorgeous Daniel Fishel or Kitty Pryde in that case. I'm just saying, okay, all that stuff aside. Yeah, dude, look at this art. Look at this art. Dude gets blasted, and then he goes and he sees a truck, and he's like, and it's not just any truck. That's Optimus Prime with a paint job. All right, that's what the hell is it called? The Mirrorverse version of I can't remember what it's called. Shattered Glass. I think that's the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime right there. That's a Peterbilt. It's Optimus Prime. He absorbs it, transforms it. Megatron fusion cannon. Wow! Just like that. That's what I'm talking about. This is beautiful. And then what happens? Banshee comes back. Damn it. Okay. Something does happen with Banshee in here. He gets cured-ish. And I'm not going to say anything more than that, except that it's tragic. beautifully tragic. What do you call it? His cure is very bittersweet. And man, if you were always indifferent, if you didn't like Banshee, you're not going to like Banshee with this. But if you were always indifferent or on the fence with Banshee, I think that this might very well change your mind. Because this was, the ending for this was like, oh, wow. But after that, oh, and Dazzler. Dazzler goes in OP mode. What do you call it? There's a lot of history in here, and it's cool. I digs it. I don't have the same feeling that Thunderbird has for Alex after this. I don't think that he's such a great leader, but he was a fun leader. And I will say that at the end, there's instead of a regular old letters page, Matthew Rosenberg just talks to us, because I believe this is supposed to be the last issue. That's what it looks like to me. This is the final issue of this book. Unless I'm wrong, what the hell do I know? I don't make these comic books. I just read them. Shoot. But I believe that this is supposed to be the last issue, the final issue, I should say. But Matthew Rosenberg gives a detail, you know, this big page where he's just talking to us. And I love it when writers do that, because, again, they don't have to do that. They don't have to share a piece of themselves. Well, he shared a big chunk of himself because I know there are a lot of people who didn't like the way that, and I shouldn't say a lot of people, whatever. There are people who didn't like the way that Havoc was written in this. Sad day for you, because the way that he was written is actually Matthew Rosenberg putting himself, his younger self more specifically, in the shoes of Havoc. So he was writing himself as young Havoc. That was badass. That was awesome. And I appreciate and applaud that, because he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that at all. And he sure as hell didn't have to tell us about that. But he chose to. And I am, you know, a man. I'm a straight up machismo man. I have no problem saying thank you for that, because that can't be easy. We all write. Whenever we write, we are writing about our experiences, what we know. It's inevitable. That's how people write. That's how writing is done. But it's a way of exposing yourself somehow when you say, well, I'm really just writing me in his shoes. So you know, that's like that. Those are details, and that's really cool. And again, he didn't have to do that, but he chose to. He didn't have to tell us about that. He chose to. That's cool. That's cool as hell. Where we go from here, I wasn't a huge fan of what happened, but only because I looked at what happened to Alex and I thought to myself, well, how's he going to come back from this? And I can't think of a cool way for him to come back. But again, that's the cool part about being a guy who doesn't write the comics, who just reads the comic books, because I don't need to figure out a cool way for him to come back. That's up to Matthew Rosenberg. And he does happen to be writing this one book called Uncanny X-Men right now, that he can make that happen. Just saying. Or just put Alex on ice for a while. Put him in the cooler for a little while until somebody's ready to take him out. It's all good, man. He just has to get bail. Just has to make bail, basically. Might have said too much. The point is, good book. This is a good book. You're going to end the book. This is a pretty good way of ending the book. I'm just cycling over some of the things that happened in the book, and I'm laughing. I'm laughing after the fact. That's how good the book was, you know? Good memories. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.